Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make these easy fingerless gloves. Now they don't take no time at all, really. They work up really quick because they're made with a thick yarn. And I got a button on them for decoration. Of course you don't have to put the button on it, but that's what they look like, and they got a little ribbing on the cuffs. And these would be good. You can use for a mantua if you use a different color or whatever, and don't put the sparklies or however you want to do it. But I think they'd be good a unisex glove because they're they're stretchy, and I think they'll work well for a man or a woman. I used Lion brand woolies, quick and thick. It's an acrylic wool blend, and it's super bulky number 6, and that's what I recommend for this pattern that I have. A color I use is called Wild Strawberry, and there's 87 yards in the skein, and I actually used, for the 2 gloves, it took 1 whole skein and probably like 1 yard of another one. So I mean, I don't know how you crochet, if you'll be able, tighter than me or whatever, if you'll be able to get away with 1 skein. I'm not sure, but it just took like maybe 1 or 2 yards of this other skein. See, it's practically full, so probably 90 yards at the most for both of them. And then the buttons that I used are 1 5/8 inch buttons, and I got these sparkly ones at my local Walmart in the button aisle. You don't have to use buttons, or you can use any type of button that you have. And then I'm going to be using a size N, which is a 9mm crochet hook. Okay, first thing you want to do is start with a slip knot on your hook. And then we're going to work a chain of 19. And then we're starting on the cuff first. So once you get your chain of 19 made, want to go ahead and slip stitch into the, one single crochet into the 2nd stitch from the hook. Remember that we don't count the one that's on our hook, so the 2nd stitch over and put 1 single crochet. And now we're going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. And when you get to the end of your chain, you should have a total of 18 single crochets. Okay, once you make it to the end and you have 18 stitches, what we want to do is, for row 2, is chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to be working in the back loops only. So if you look at your stitches, you can see that there is the loop that is closest to you is the front loop, and the loop that's farthest away is the back loop. So we're going to go into this very first stitch here. Right here is the front loop. We want to go into the back loop, so that loop right there, and single crochet. And then we're going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch, working in the back loop only. So in case you can't see here, I'll show you. Here's the front loop of the stitch, the one that's closest to you, and then the back loop is the one furthest away. So we're just working in that 1 back loop. And we're going to do this 1 single crochet in the back loop only of every stitch until you get to the end of the row, and you can see it's kind of making a little bit of a rib there. And when you get to the end, you still should have 18 single crochets. Okay, when you make it to the end of row 2 and you have your 18 stitches, what we're going to do now is we're just going to repeat row 2. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and working in the back loop of the very first stitch we're going to single crochet. And then we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch to the end of the row. So we want to keep repeating row 2 till we have a total of 7 rows. We're working on our 3rd row now. So repeat row 2 for a total of 7 rows, and that'll form the cuff. And you should have 18 stitches at the end of every row. Okay, once you get your 7 rows done, what we're going to do is fold the piece in half, just like this. And I'm just going to slip stitch the side together. So I didn't tie off or anything yet, so I'm just going to grab the first stitch over here. I'm going to go through the first stitch here and then grab the first stitch on this side, and then I'm going to slip stitch it. You should, since we had 7 rows, you should have 7 slip stitches, but that doesn't have to be exact. You don't even have to slip stitch it. You can actually sew it with your needle if you want, yarn needle. But I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch it. Kind of get the rows lined up, keep them lined up if you can. That way when you flip it, the rows are even. I probably got more than 7 slip stitches, but that's okay. Okay, once you make it to the end, what I'm going to do is tie off now. Yeah, I was having a little trouble with that last slip stitch. You probably see me struggling. But just go ahead and tie that off. And now I'm going to flip it inside out so this seam's on the inside. Like that. And now I'm going to start. My rows aren't really that lined up, but it's okay. So there's the cuff. And here's the seam back here. And I'm just going to start in a stitch up here along the seam. That way when you wear it, the seam will be in the bag. And you want to start your yarn by chaining 1 and working 1 single crochet back into that same stitch. We're going through both loops now. We're not doing that back loop thing anymore. And we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. And you should have 18 single crochets when you get back around. So all the way around the top, so you get back over here. Okay, when you make it back around and you have your 18 stitches, now you're going to need a stitch marker. And I'm just going to use this piece of yarn here, and I'm going to put it right here. That way I can keep track of where my row ends and where my row begins. So now I'm going to jump over to the first single crochet and single crochet into it. Not the chain 1, but the first single crochet that we made. And what I want to do now is 5 single crochets in a row, and then I'm going to do an increase stitch. So that counts as our first one. So I want to do 5 in a row. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now on my next stitch, I'm going to put 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and that is an increase. So now I'm going to put 5 single crochets in a row again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 single crochets into the next. And I'm going to do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then my last stitch I'll put 2 single crochets into it, just like that. Now I should have a total of 21 single crochets. So I'm going to move my stitch marker up, and I'm going to go around again, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. And I want to continue putting 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around for 6 rounds. This would be our first one here. When you get to your stitch marker, you should have 21 stitches. Pull it out, move it up, and go around again. And you want to do that 6 times total. We just did it once. I'm working on my second time. So I'm going to continue until I get 6 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch with 21 single crochets at the end of every round. Okay, once you did your 6 rows of 1 single crochet in every stitch, if you count, you should have a total from after we sewed it up, counting the first round after that, you should have a total of 8 rounds, because we did the very first round after we sewed it of 1 single crochet in every stitch, and then we did the increase round, and then we did 6 more. So that would be a total of 8. 7, 8. Okay, now we're going to make the thumb hole. Now you can make the thumb hole, you can make the glove the exact same and it would work fine, but the seam, I want the seam on both of mine to be on the bottom, so I'm going to make the thumb hole different. Like here is my left, this is my mitten for my left arm, and as you can see, the seam, the ugly seam, is on the bottom. Now if I was to make it, some people make the gloves the exact same, and if I did and put it on my other hand, the seam would be on the top, if you know what I'm talking about, and I don't want that seam to be on the top. So I'm going to show you how to make the thumb holes opposite sides of each other, and it's really easy. This is the only part really that's different. For the left glove, what we're going to do now is pull our stitch marker up and move it. And now this is for the left glove. We're going to put 1 single crochet into the first 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip 3. 1, 2, 3. And single crochet into the next. And then single crochet in every stitch until you get back around. There should be 15 stitches till you get back around. Remember, we're working this for the left glove. We only do it different so the seam of the glove on each glove will be on the bottom of our wrists. I know some people say they just show you how to work one and say to use them both the same, and that's fine if you don't have a real noticeable seam, but since this yarn is so thick, my seam's a little noticeable, so I'm going to keep it on the bottom. And remember, left glove here, all the way around, just like that. Now you'll have 18 stitches, and then you'll have this chain 3 here. So we'll pull up our stitch marker, and now what we're going to do is put 1 single crochet in every stitch the first 3, and then 1 single crochet, or 3 single crochets in this chain 3 space. So we just go right through it and work 3 single crochets, just like that, and that's our thumb hole for our left glove. And now it's just 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around back to the stitch marker, and you'll have 21 stitches. Now that's for the left glove. Well, I already have that one done, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. Okay, for the right glove, to make the seam on the bottom, what we're going to do is put we moved our stitch marker up, we're going to put 1 single crochet in the first 15 stitches. So there's 1, okay, there's 15. Now we're going to chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1 single crochet into the last 3. So you can see it's similar. The right is similar to the left. It's just you did it on opposite sides. Instead of starting with 3 stitches on this side and then doing your thumb hole, you ended with 3 stitches. Did your thumb hole there. And you should have the same for the right. Now you should have 18 stitches. Move your stitch marker up. 1 single crochet in every stitch until you get to your chain 3. And then when you get to your chain 3 here, 3 single crochets through the chain space. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 single crochet into the last 3 until you get to your stitch marker, and now you'll have 21 stitches again. Now from here on out, it's the same. Working the left or right glove, it's the same. Now see, when I put it on my right hand now, the seam that I don't like is on the bottom. So that's how you adjust for the right and left glove. Now remember, it's the same now, whether you're working the right or the left glove. You just pull your stitch marker up like that. And now we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Until you get back to the stitch marker. And we're going to work this 1 single crochet in every stitch around for 2 rounds. So this would be my first one. Just one in each of these little, at the top here of the thumb hole. And when you make it back to your stitch marker, you'll have 21 stitches. And now I'm just going to move my stitch marker up, and I'm going to go around 1 more time. And I just want to say again, remember, after the rows, after we did the thumb hole for the left and right, it's the same after that. I mean, I don't want to confuse anybody, so it's the exact same. It's just the row was different. That one row was different. Other than that, everything's the same. We just made the thumb hole on the opposite side. And I apologize if I'm confusing. I don't aim to be. I try to be as thorough as I can, but sometimes I listen to myself and I'm like, what? No one's going to understand that. Okay, this is once you make it back around to the beginning now, and you still should have 21 stitches. Back to your stitch marker. Now if you count again from the bottom where we started, you should have 12 rows now. So your first row, we sewed this together, your first row, you should have 12 all together. 12, I do. Great. Now what I'm going to do is one more round, and then I'm going to do this is going to be a decrease round just to make the top a little bit smaller. So I'm going to pull my stitch marker out from my 13th round and move it up. And now what I'm going to do is put one single crochet in the first 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to single crochet decrease over the next 2 stitches. So I go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, and then I go into the next one, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. So that took 2 stitches and made it into 1. And now I'm just going to repeat that. I'm going to put 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. And then a single crochet decrease over the next 2. So I go in to the next one, draw up a loop, and then into the next one, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. Now I'm going to do that one more time. 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. And you should have 2 stitches left to do a decrease over, and I do. So go in, drop a loop, go into the next one, drop a loop, yarn over, go through all 3, and now I'm going to go ahead and end it by slip stitching into my next stitch like that, and tying that off, and I can take out that stitch marker, clip my yarn, hide all my tails. Okay, one more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the bottom with the row of single crochet to clean up the bottom down here. So I'm going to start at the seam, starting a stitch next to it, and I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to put 1 single crochet back into that same stitch. None of that worked out for me. Let me do that again. Chain 1, 1 single crochet into the same stitch, and then I'm just going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch around, just to make the bottom look a little cleaner. And you should have 18 stitches when you get around, or you don't even have to be exact, but just get it close to that if you can. 17, 19 is not going to hurt anything. Okay, then when you make it around, you just want to slip stitch into the first single crochet you made, not that chain 1, but the first single crochet. Tie that off, hide that tail, and then we'll be done with that. And then if you want to sew buttons on, you can. That's up to you. I'm just going to sew some up here. Probably be pretty down here. Of course, if it's a man's, you probably don't want to sew them sparkly things on. But I'm going to go ahead and get my button sewed on. Okay, that is it. That is all there is to it. Super quick, super easy. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out all my other tutorials. I have hundreds of them. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook too, or if you make these or anything else, you can post a picture of it. I'd really like to see it. And you can follow me on Instagram also. I'll put links to all that stuff below. And until next time, have a good day.